David? I can't believe it. Is that really you?
Karen? What do you want? I'm a little busy right now, so I can't chat.
Are you really David? The real David that I used to be married to?
How did you find this account? It should be a private account, so you can't have messaged me unless I friended you.
I found it through your phone number. An old friend of ours mentioned that you were still alive the other day, so I thought I'd say hi, but this is really surprising. I didn't think that I would actually get a reply from you.
Yeah, I'm alive. Do you have a problem with that? And it's all thanks to you. My life completely changed after you threw me away. For the better, I mean.
Why are you still alive? 20 years ago, when we were still together, the doctor diagnosed you with an incurable disease. He said that you only had a few years left to live.
Yeah, I was. But luckily enough, I haven't succumbed to it yet. I've been fighting against it all this time, and I don't plan on losing soon. I'm not completely cured, but the symptoms have gotten a lot easier to deal with. I feel a lot better now than I did when I was first diagnosed.
But is that even possible? How?
The doctors were all saying that it's a miracle, that they've never seen anything like it. Apparently, there's no precedent for a patient with my illness surviving for this long and for the symptoms to improve this much.
I didn't expect you to be alive after all these years. I thought you were long gone, so it feels like I'm talking to a ghost. I still can't believe you're actually David. I need to see it to believe it.
Well, I don't really care whether you believe me or not. We're strangers now. There's no need for us to even be talking right now. And I don't really care what you think of me after all this time.
You're not one of David's relatives pretending to be David, are you?
What? What's the point in doing something like that? You're not making any sense.
You might be one of his relatives tricking me into thinking that you're David because you actually want to demand compensation for something that happened in the past. It's a possibility, don't you think? There might be a family member who's holding a grudge against me for leaving you when I did.
Yeah, that's possible. A lot of my relatives weren't that fond of you after everything that happened. But they've all got jobs. No one has enough time on their hands to trick you just to make you pay some compensation. Stop fantasizing and get on with your own life.
I want you to prove to me that you're the real David and that you're not just a poser.
What? You're talking nonsense, Karen. Why should I waste my time proving something like that to you? I thought I told you I'm busy.
Yeah, well, I'm worried. I want to be sure that you're the real David. It's terrifying just imagining what a fake might be able to do if they're planning on bringing up old resentments.
Listen up, Karen. I don't have to prove anything to you. I haven't forgiven you for what you did 20 years ago, but I don't hate you for it anymore. I'm not interested in digging up those old resentments from the past and demanding compensation for it. If anything, I don't want to have anything to do with you. If we can end this conversation right here, I'd be happy to. Most importantly, if you really do feel bad about what happened, then you'd leave me in peace. I'm happy right now, and I don't need to be reminded of events that happened 20 years ago.
But I don't feel bad at all. I never once said that I was talking to you because I wanted you to forgive me.
What? You dumped me the moment you found out that I was sick, and you don't even think that you should have done things differently?
Well, what did you expect me to do? Your doctor said that it was incurable. I didn't want to waste my precious time taking care of you, that's all. Your doctor said that you were going to end up bedridden, and that meant that I would have to do everything for you. I don't regret having left you when I did, and even if I had to go back in time and do it all over again, I would make the same choice.
Don't get me wrong, I'm not blaming you for the choice you made. I don't have any right to say that you were in the wrong if you wanted to prioritize your own life, and I don't really care if all that was behind that decision. If it was that simple, then I wouldn't be saying that you abandoned me. I didn't want to force you into taking care of me if you weren't prepared for that kind of responsibility. But the problem I have is with the attitude you had and the way you treated me.
My attitude? What did I do to upset you?
You don't remember? I can still remember everything you said to me like it was just yesterday. You told me that you didn't want to have children with a man with an incurable disease because it was obvious that my genes weren't worth passing on. That I was a failure and that I would just create more failures if we had children. You said to me before you left that if I was going to die of this incurable disease, I would have to die alone.
Oh, come on. I was still in my early 20s. You shouldn't take the words of a 22-year-old so seriously. I married you because I expected that we would live a long, happy life together and was looking forward to that so much. But with one checkup and our future had disappeared. Of course I would feel like I had married a failure. I don't think you can blame me for being a little emotional. It was a shock for me, too.
I regret that I couldn't give you the happy marriage that you wanted. I really do. You have no idea how frustrated I was at the time with myself, my doctors, with everything. But you didn't have to call me a failure. You didn't have to treat me like it was all my fault, like I had chosen to be diagnosed with something like this. I was already terrified about what was going to happen to me, and I didn't know what to do.
It was your fault that I ended up becoming a divorcee, wasn't it? Can't you step into my shoes and think about how I felt? For a woman, the early 20s is the peak period, the best time to shine and feel good about herself. But the second we found out about your disease and all that went down the drain, I wasted precious years with you when I could have gone out and found someone else.
Great. I can't understand you after all. Even if I didn't get sick, I think we would have gotten divorced pretty soon after we got married anyway.
Hey, David, where are you living right now?
I'm living in New York. What about it?
Really? What a coincidence. I'm in New York, too. What do you say about meeting up sometime? I want to see you.
What? Why do you want to meet up? There's no reason for us to see each other anymore.
Yeah, but I want to see that you're alive for myself. I can't believe it until I see you in the flesh. You've got to prove to me that you're the real David.
You're still going on about that? I'm the real David. Why should I have to prove myself to you? 3 days ago, when we last talked, I mentioned the stuff you said to me 20 years ago. Isn't that enough? That's proof that I'm the David you dumped because nobody else overheard that conversation we had before you left me.
But how do I know that you didn't tell any of your relatives about what I said? As long as that's a possibility, I can't believe that you're really David. That's not proof of anything. You'll have to do better than that.
How many times do I have to tell you that I'm alive? Why are you so obsessed about whether I'm a fake or not? It's not like you'll get a prize for guessing if I'm the real David or not.
I told you, didn't I? I don't want to get taken to court for something that happened so long ago, so I want proof that you're really David. I'm currently running a small business and I don't have that much money or time to spare. I can't let a court case get in the way of my work.
You running a business? Really? What are you doing right now?
I'm running a cafe. I got tired of working in a company and decided to challenge myself by starting up my own little place in the city. I've heard that it's pretty difficult to keep a cafe open for more than 2 years in New York, so I think I've done pretty well for myself. My cafe's been open for 4 years now. Pretty good, don't you think?
Oh, really? Good for you.
But I guess it's a waste of time talking about business to you, isn't it? You probably don't understand how difficult it is in this day and age. You wouldn't know a single thing about business because you're not smart enough. I doubt that you can even keep up with this conversation because you're so ignorant. Anyway, I want to see you in person.
I'm pretty busy, so I can't take that much time out of my day.
I'm the one that's busy, David. You should be grateful that I'm offering to meet up with you when I've got such a busy schedule, running my cafe and running errands. But it'll be enough as long as I can see you and confirm that you really are David. I don't really care if we only talk for a few minutes. It's not like I want to spend a lot of time with you.
All right, then how about we meet next week on Friday? I'm free around 3 o'clock. We can meet somewhere in Midtown Manhattan. I'll send you an address later when I've worked out where I'll be that morning. I'll be heading over by car, and I'll honk when I see you so you can take a look. When you've seen me, I'll go. Is that good enough, or do we have to have lunch together?
No, that's fine. Don't be late. You really are David. I can't believe it.
Yeah, I told you so. It's me. Are you happy now?
And then I guess I better greet you properly since we didn't say anything when I first started messaging you. Hi, David. I can't believe it's already been 20 years. I'm surprised you're still alive. I half expected you to be dead already. This is hilarious. I didn't think that I would have the chance to say something like this. This is probably a once-in-a-lifetime chance.
You haven't changed one bit, Karen. You're still just as insensitive as you were in the past.
You may have survived the time limit the doctors gave you, but I doubt you've managed to make anything of yourself since then. You probably couldn't even get a decent job, could you? I bet you've been living a miserable life all on your own.
You don't get to decide that, and you're completely wrong, by the way.
Did I hurt your pride? I wouldn't be surprised if you were living in a tiny, rotting apartment without any TV or any money to enjoy your hobbies. I've never heard of someone with an incurable disease living in luxury, after all. It's impossible considering the fact that you can't work.
I'm not miserable and I'm not poor either. I may be living in a relatively small apartment, but that's a matter of taste, not lack of funds. It's been 20 years since I founded my company, and I've even got an adorable granddaughter. I'm as happy as any man could be. I'm satisfied with the life I have right now, and I don't need your approval for that.
What? What company? You have a company? You're seriously running your own company?
Yeah, I was surprised when you said that you were running a business too. It's pretty amazing that you've managed to keep it going for 4 years, especially in a competitive place like New York. But yeah, I've been running my own company for the past 20 years since after we divorced.
What? No way. How am I supposed to believe that? You, the owner of a company? There's no point telling lies like that, David.
I'm not lying to you. What would I get out of telling a lie like that? Go ahead, look my name up on the internet. I'm pretty sure that my company's website will come up first and you can take a look at what we do.
How can you possibly make it as a CEO? You don't have the brains or the guts for it. You were just a pathetic pen pusher when we were together. You earned less than average and worked for a boring little company.
I've always been interested in starting a business, Karen. You probably just didn't care to remember that I had mentioned that. Once I got sick and you left me, I felt like I had nothing left. But I realized that that wasn't true. I just had nothing else to lose. I thought that if I was going to die, that I might as well try and go out with a bang. I wanted to do something for myself before I died. It was a lot of work in the first 5 years, and there were a lot of times when my symptoms were so bad that I thought that I really was going to die, and that I wouldn't be able to achieve anything. But after some time and a lot of effort, it was smooth sailing.
Do you really expect me to believe that? There's no way that you have the talent to be a CEO. You're just lying to make yourself look better than me.
Well, you're right on that point. I couldn't have made it this far on my own. But I wasn't alone. I had the help of my current wife. She did everything she could to support me during my treatment, at work, and at home. I owe everything to her. I made the right choice to break up with you. It scares me just thinking that I might not have met my wife if we didn't get divorced when we did. Fate is a really funny thing.
You're lying. I'm not going to believe your stupid lies. You can't fool me that easily. David, I can't believe you're actually running such a big company. It's a lot more successful than I imagined it would be.
What, so you looked it up in the end, even though you were so bent on not believing what I was saying to you?
Well, yeah, I just got a little curious, that's all. I searched your name like you told me to, and it wasn't just your homepage that came up. There were articles about you and your company, too. I'm surprised that you were telling the truth.
You've been doubting me ever since you started messaging me. I hope that you'll realize that I haven't told a single lie to you. There's no reason for me to lie to you.
Yeah, I'm really sorry that I was so suspicious. I didn't mean to be so skeptic.
All right, well, now you've had all your questions answered. Do you think we can put an end to this now? I don't want to spend any more time talking to you. It was good hearing from you, but it's not like I want to be friends.
Wait a minute, I still have something to ask you. If you're a fellow business person, then I'd actually like to ask you for some advice.
What? What do you want to ask me?
What do you think about investing in my cafe? You won't regret it, I promise.
I don't understand why you're asking me that. I'm not interested in investing in private companies, let alone a cafe owned by you.
All right, then why don't you buy my cafe and become the owner? You can change things however you'd like, but I'll manage all the day-to-day business. I think that's a pretty great offer. You won't regret it, I promise. My cafe has a lot of potential to become a really popular coffee house. I just need more time and more funds.
So I'm guessing that you've been having a hard time keeping it afloat, huh? Otherwise, I can't imagine why you'd want to offer your precious cafe up for sale. I know that you're way too proud for that. You must be pretty desperate.
You should know how hard it is to keep up with paying the rent. Prices for groceries have soared, and my supplier has raised prices several times over the past couple of years. There was a university hospital nearby up until a while ago, and I was pretty reliant on their staff and students to come by at lunchtime, but they've moved the building, and I've lost a lot of customers since. But I can promise you that my coffee is the best in the area. I have a lunch menu and desserts too. I've been using social media to get more attention and grab younger customers these past few months, so I think that I'll make a great comeback. I really do. I'm sure that I'll be back to earning a profit if I can just get the time to see the social media take effect.
And what evidence do you have to support that? Have you had a lot of views, gained a major following on your accounts? Even if you could answer that, I don't want your cafe. You just want me to help you get it back on track, right?
Yes. Are you happy now? I want you to help me. Do I have to beg you? I'm in a lot of debt. I can't see any way out except for you to invest in my cafe or become the owner. I can't let it go under. I don't know what I can do for work after that happens. This is the only chance I have.
If you need help, then you don't have to ask me, do you? Find some other investor that's willing to accept you and your debt.
But I don't have anyone else to rely on. I haven't called my parents in years, and I've become estranged from my relatives too. I've got someone I've been seeing, but I can't ask him for any money. He hasn't got a lot of money himself. If I asked him, he would probably leave me.
Someone you've been dating, so you're not married.
I've been married and divorced twice in the past 20 years. I've had enough of marriage. Neither of them lasted very long either. They were both useless men that couldn't earn the salary I wanted.
Wait, so you're a 3-time divorcee? That's pretty amazing. I'm surprised you had the energy to go through so many divorces.
But I don't want you to judge me because of that. The one I want to be with right now is you. I want to get back together. Thinking back on all the relationships I've had, I think that you're the one man that I was most compatible with. I can't see myself with anyone else.
Don't be stupid, Karen. I'm not gonna judge your choices, but there's no way I'm getting back together with you. Why should I get back together with you after you left me the way you did? I told you that I still haven't forgiven you for that. Besides, I'm already happily married. I can't think about being with anyone but her anymore. She's the only one for me. Unlike you, she was honest, kind, and supported me through everything. She's never made me feel like I owe her. But I've sworn to make her happy. Why would I give up on a beautiful marriage with my loving wife to be with a woman like you?
Then could you at least think about being my business partner? I could use a lot of help, and you'll see that it was worth it when I get my customers back. I think that we both have a lot of skill for running a business, and that we could do a lot of great work if we put our heads together. You'll be so happy that you partnered with me, I swear.
No way. I highly doubt you have any sense for business, and I definitely don't want you as a business partner. I'm declining.
What? Of course I do. What are you talking about?
All right, then do something about your cafe on your own. You should be able to manage that much if you really are skilled at business. Don't fall back on the man you abandoned 20 years ago and expect me to catch you.
Why can't you just help me for old time's sake? Do you really have to be so cold towards the first woman you were married to?
Maybe I would have considered it if we had gotten on pretty well and parted on good terms. But that's not how we broke up. We divorced on the worst terms possible.
Hey, wait a minute. Something doesn't make sense. Forget about my cafe for 1 second. How old is your grandchild?
She's 2 years old, so what? That's got nothing to do with you.
No, it's got everything to do with me. It doesn't add up. It's only been 20 years since we broke up. How could you already have a grandchild? I could understand if your daughter or daughter-in-law was pregnant, but if your grandchild is already a toddler... Even now, you can have found a new wife, gotten married, gotten pregnant, and then had a child that became an adult all in just the space of 20 years.
What's so weird about that?
It's way too fast. Was it a shotgun wedding or something? That must mean that your son or daughter had their child when they were still a teenager. The oldest they could have been was 18. The only explanation is that you were having an affair with your second wife before you divorced me. That must be it. You're the worst. I can't believe you. If you were having an affair, then you owe me compensation.
It's not that rare for an 18-year-old to get pregnant anymore. I don't see what the big deal is if the baby's born into a stable environment.
But would a rich CEO's daughter get pregnant at that age? I can't imagine what kind of education you're giving her, but it's unthinkable.
Really? I don't think so. And there's one thing you're missing. The child that gave birth to my grandchild was my wife's kid from her previous marriage. They're already grown adults. I bet you didn't expect that. So you can't complain that it's abnormal.
Seriously? You married a divorcee? And you were okay with that?
So what? You've been divorced 3 times, and I'm a divorcee too. I don't care about that. Everybody has their own reasons. I don't see why people have to put such a negative label on divorce. And my wife and I have our own children together, but they're currently studying abroad, so we haven't seen them in person so much.
What? Are you trying to show off? Are you bragging that you have the money to spend a fortune on their education and send them abroad?
What, did you feel jealous when you heard that? Well, I guess you would since you don't have any family left that actually loves you.
You may have become rich, but you've become a real snob, too. You don't have the right to look down on me like that. You just became rich overnight because you were lucky, that's all.
I'm not going to deny that getting rich was a factor in my happiness, but money isn't everything to me. What makes me happiest is being with my family and that I've been able to spend all this time with them. I'm lucky that I've been able to stay alive for so long. It was a happiness that I never could have experienced if I had stayed with you.
David, I'm waiting in the reception area. I need to see you. Please, would you come down to the lobby just for a few minutes?
What? You mean you're at the main office building? You're kidding, right?
No, I'm here to ask you to rethink investing in my cafe again. Please, I've already gone bankrupt. I need help starting it up again. I'm begging you, please, you've got to help me. I tried to hide that I had lost the cafe, but my boyfriend dumped me when he found out that I didn't have any money left. You're the only one I can turn to, David.
So your current boyfriend dumped you too. That's not surprising.
How could you laugh at a situation like this? You're horrible. I have been heartbroken, and I spent an entire day crying over him, you know. I thought we were going to spend the rest of our lives together.
If you had the time to cry, then you should have started looking for someone to help you reopen your cafe. I hope you've paid your employees properly. That's the least you can do for putting them in such an unstable situation. If you can't even do that, then you're already a failure as a businesswoman.
I don't have any employees. I was running the cafe all on my own. I didn't have a lot of money to spare these past 2 years because I was having trouble financially. I couldn't afford to hire anyone.
What, so you opened the cafe 4 years ago but spent 2 years having financial trouble? What were you doing? No, wait, did you even have a period when your cafe was going well?
Everything was going fine for the first year and a half. I was getting a lot of customers and I was making a profit. For a while after that, I was dealing with the rent using money I had borrowed from the bank, but...
I thought so. It sounds like you don't have any sense for business at all. Not if you couldn't come back from that, even after borrowing money.
Oh, shut it! Why do you have to be so brutal? I know. I already know all of that without you telling me. I know that I couldn't make it alone. That's why I'm asking for your help. You've probably been on an upward climb for the past 20 years, but I couldn't manage anything. Does that make you happy that I'm a failure? Is that what you wanted to hear from me? I failed in my marriages and I failed at my career. There's nothing I can hold my head high about.
You have my sympathies, Karen. It'll probably take a lot of work and a lot of patience, but you'll just have to deal with everything on your own.
You really won't help me? You're just going to abandon me?
Yeah, I'm not going to help you.
But if you leave me like this, I won't even be able to put any food on the table. Are you just going to leave me to rot? Why can't you just come down and listen to my offer? Please, that's all I'm asking. Can't you at least show some compassion? You can't just leave me waiting in the reception.
No matter what you say, I can't hear you out. I'm not even at the office right now. Hell, I'm not even in the country, and I'm not coming back just to see you.
What? Then where are you?
Dubai.
You're in Dubai? What for?
I came for work, but my wife said she wanted to come along, so I'm spending some time off to enjoy a holiday. Nowadays, I spend most of my time out of the States, so I'm not coming back for a while. I only managed to see you the other day because I happened to be in the country at the time. You were lucky that I was actually in New York at the time.
What? That's exactly what rich people in the movies do. Are you seriously living like that? I bet you get to stay in glamorous hotels and eat at fancy restaurants too. Makes me mad just thinking about it.
I'm fortunate enough to enjoy traveling because my company's going so well. I couldn't have made it to this level without my wife and our employees. We've been sticking our fingers into all sorts of businesses too. Things have been going perfectly, especially these past few years.
David, now you're really out of my reach. What am I supposed to do now?
You should probably leave. I'm gonna contact my receptionist and have them ask security to escort you out of the building. I don't want you coming anywhere near me anymore. Understood?
What are you going to do if something happens to me? If I end up suffering because you refuse to help me? I bet that you'll regret it. You're going to wish that you had helped me, and you're going to hate yourself forever.
I'm not going to regret it.
Why not? Why can't you feel a little bad for abandoning me? Isn't there someone out there who will sympathize with me?
I'd make the same decision. Even if I had the chance to relive this life, I would do everything the way I did it up until now. Anyway, I think I've made myself clear, so I don't want you messaging me anymore. I'm warning you. You should understand, Karen, since you made the same decision yourself in the past. You should understand that I don't want to help you because I don't want you getting in the way of the happy life I have right now and dragging me down with your weight. After that, in order to completely cut off ties with my ex-wife, I blocked her number and her accounts on social media. However, I was a little curious about what had happened to her after that, so I got in touch with some of her relatives and heard from them about what Karen was doing. Apparently, she couldn't pay off the large debts she owed, so anything she owned that had any worth was seized by the bank and was sold to go towards paying off her debt. It seems that she couldn't find anyone who was willing to help her start her cafe back up, let alone lend her some money. After that, I heard that she'd gone to the countryside to live in a house which used to belong to her grandparents in the middle of nowhere. I hear she's been keeping her head down, so at least that's a relief. On the other hand, I'm planning on an early retirement. I'll hand over my position as CEO in a few years to someone I can trust my company with. Of course, I made that decision with my illness in mind, because I don't want to do something as stupid as worsen my symptoms when I could have a few more years of peace with my family. After I'm retired, I hope to spend my remaining years with my wife, paying her back for all the support she gave me throughout our marriage. I owe her a lot for everything she's done for me over the past 20 years, so I hope that I can do enough to make her happy before I pass.